Difference of two squares. Now what do you mean by this word difference? Difference means this subtraction over here. So this is the difference of what? Of two sets of squares. So this is the first square and this is the other square. So when you have the difference of two squares, how you expand it? You will write it as A plus B and the other bracket is A minus B. What do you mean by this? When you multiply A times A, you get this A squared. When you multiply A times minus B, it is minus AB. When you multiply B times A, it is plus AB. When you multiply B times B, it is minus B squared. So you can notice plus AB and minus AB will cancel off. You are left with A squared minus B squared. Okay, let me show you some examples now. X squared minus 25. Now the difference is there. So here is the difference. Here is the difference. Of two squares means x squared is there. You know 25 is 5 squared. So we can write it as x minus 5, x plus 5. Remember, you can't write x minus 25 and x plus 25. It is wrong. So difference of two squares means this 25 also you have to turn it into a square, which is 5 squared. X squared minus 36. So here you can see it is x minus 6 and x plus 6. X squared minus 81, that is x minus 9, because 81 means 9 squared. So we have x minus 9 and here we have x plus 9. Nextly, 36 minus x squared. So the difference is there in each case. Of two squares, we need two sets of squares. So the first one is 36, which is 6 squared, and the next you have x squared. So we have 6 minus x and 6 plus x. Hundred minus x squared. 100 means now what? 10 squared. Minus is difference and then x squared. Now you have the difference of two squares, that is 10 squared and x squared. So we are going to write it as 10 minus x, 10 plus x. Next one, x squared minus y squared. X minus y, x plus y. X squared minus 1. So 1 you also can write it as 1 squared, because 1 squared is also 1. So we have x minus 1, x plus 1. 9 minus x squared, that is 3 squared, minus x squared, which is 3 minus x and 3 plus x. Okay, look at this. 25 a squared minus 9t squared. So 25 is 5 squared and a squared. So it's one term. You can see 25a squared means one term. So we have only two terms here. So when you write 25 as 5 squared, you can join it with a squared and then both the squares, you can bring it out from a bracket, right? So we have 5a minus 3t, 5a plus 3t. 9a squared minus 4b squared. So 9 means 3 squared. Therefore, we can write it as 3a. 4 means 2 squared and 2b. So we have 3a minus 2b 3a plus 2b. 100x squared minus 49y squared. So 100x squared means 10 squared x squared minus 49 means 7 squared and y squared. So we have 10x minus 7y, 10x plus 7y. 64p squared minus 81q squared. So 64 means 8 squared, 81 means 9 squared. We have 8p minus 9q, 8p plus 9q. 16a squared minus 9b squared. 16 means 4 squared, 9 means 3 squared. So we have 4a minus 3b, 4a plus 3b. Next question, look at this. A squared over 4 minus b squared over 9. So we are going to write this as a over 2 minus b over 3, a over 2 plus b over 3. Next one, 25 over 36 minus x squared over 81. So we have 5 over 6 minus x over 9, 5 over 6 plus x over 9. Three a squared minus 27b squared. Now I say you, the first step that you have to do here is you bring the common value out from a bracket. So the common value here is 3. When you bring 3 out from the bracket, within bracket you have a squared minus 9b squared. So you have to leave 3 as it is. A squared minus 9b squared you can write as a minus 3b and a plus 3b. Next question is 18t squared minus 50s squared. So similarly, you bring the common value out from the bracket, which is 2. And you're left with 9t squared minus 25s squared. So we can write 9 as 3 squared, 25 as 5 squared. So we have 2, 3t minus 5x, 3t plus 5s. Next question is 27x squared minus 3y squared. So we will bring the common value out, which is 3. So within brackets we have 9x squared minus y squared. We will write this as 3 as it is, 3x minus y and 3x plus y. (45x squared minus 20). The common value here is 5. So we will bring 5 out from the bracket. We are left with 9x squared minus 4. So we are going to use difference of two squares. 5 as it is. And we have 3x minus 2 and 3x plus 2. Look at this sum. We have 20x squared minus 1/3 y squared. So, when you have a fraction, the easiest way to do this question is you bring this 1/3 out from the bracket. And you multiply this 27 by this 3. And you write it as the first coefficient here, which is 81. Now you can see 1/3 times 81 is 27. So we can write the rest as it is. 81x squared minus 1/3 you have taken out. Now we have y squared here. Now 1/3 is the common value which you brought out from the bracket. So you write it as it is. 81 means 9 squared. So we can write this as 9x minus y and 9x plus y. Even here, when you have a fraction, I told you the easiest way is to bring the fraction out from a bracket. And you multiply this 2 by this 2 and you write it as 4b squared. So we have half within brackets a squared minus 4b squared. Now we are going to use difference of 2 squared, that is half a minus 2b, half brackets a minus 2b, half is already there, so a minus 2b is written. Now we have a plus 2b. Same thing, we have to bring the common factor out. So the common factor here is 5 and you're left with 25 minus 4a squared. So we have 5 out there, 5 minus 2a and 5 plus 2a. We have 3x squared minus 108. So let's bring 3 out from the bracket. Now we have x squared minus 36. So we have 3 times x minus 6 and x plus 6. We have 200x squared minus 18y squared. We will bring 2 out from the bracket. Now we have 100x squared minus 9y squared. So we have 2 out from the bracket. Then we have 10x minus 3y and 10x plus 3y. 8y squared minus 128. We bring 2 out from the bracket. So within bracket we have 4y squared minus 64. 4 means 2 squared, 64 means 8 squared. So we have 2 times 4y minus 8, 4y. Look at this. This is a little different. You have 4x squared, y to the power 4 minus 36x to the power 4 and y squared. So this is the format, right? Difference of 2 squares. So I have put the difference here. Here is the difference of how many squares? 2 squares. So I am going to split this sum. 4 I will take here as 2. X squared I will take it as x. Y to the power 4 I will have it as y squared to the power 2. And here 36 I will write it as 6. X to the power 4 I will write it as x squared to the power 2. And y squared I will write it as y. So here I have 2x y squared. Here you can see it's y to the power 4. Out of power 4 I will put power 2 in. So 2 times 2 you will get this power 4. We know in indices you multiply the values which you write within the bracket, the power here and over the power here. And here we have 6 x squared to the power 2, which is x to the power 4 and y. So now we have the difference of 2 squares. So we are going to write it as 2xy squared plus 6x squared y, 2xy squared minus 6x squared y. So you can see that that's not the sum. We can further simplify. You can further simplify from this step. This bracket, the common value here is, I will bring what? 2xy out. And you're left with here what? Y plus 3x. And after next bracket, you can bring plus 2xy out. You have y minus 3x. Now you can simplify and write this. 2 times 2, 4. X times x, x squared. Y times y, y squared. So you have simplified this. And then we write it as y plus 3x and y minus 3x. Look at this sum, please. I'll give you a few minutes that you can look into the sum and understand what does the question says. Now look at this sum, please. 16x to the power 4. So I will write it as 16, I will write it as 4. And here x to the power 2, I will write it as x to the power 2, that to the power 2. So you can see here 2 times 2, you will get 4. As well as 4 to the power 2 is 16. So y to the power 4 also I will write it in the same way. Y to the power 2, that to the power 2. Now I have difference of two squares. So the first bracket is 4x squared plus y squared. Next bracket is 4x squared minus y squared. But you have not finished the sum. This first bracket 4x squared plus y squared you can write as it is. But the next bracket you can see further you can write it in difference of two squares. Y 4 you can write it as 2. X squared you can write it as x. So 2x whole thing squared means 2 squared is 4. This is x squared minus y squared. So the first bracket as it is 4x squared plus y squared. Next bracket we have 2x plus y and 2x minus y. Now look at this again. You can use difference of two squares for this bracket again separately. So difference of two squares is used to this bracket separately, while the first bracket you continue as it is. So I have briefed you the question. This is 4 squared. This is x squared to the power 2 and this is y squared. Next one. Here x minus 3 whole thing squared minus 4. So x minus 3 whole thing squared is a square. Minus means difference. So 4 you can write it as 2 squared. Then what you can do? You can write x minus 3 with a plus 2. And again x minus 3 with the minus 2. And then you can simplify within each bracket. X minus 3 plus 2 means x minus 1. X minus 3 minus 2 means x minus 5. Now, within these brackets also, you simplify and you can write the final answer like this. Next sum. 16y to the power 4 minus 81. Now look at this. 16 means what? 4 squared. Y to the power 4, what do? I put it as y squared to the power 2. 81 is what? 9 squared. So using this, I will write down 4y squared plus 9 and 4y squared minus 9. But you are not over. This bracket you write as it is. But the next bracket is 4y squared minus 9 means you write it as 2y whole thing squared minus 3 squared. because you can clearly see that I can use difference of two squares to this bracket as well. Not only for this particular first sum. First sum I simplified. Again, of the part of the sum you can simplify and write. So 4y squared means you can write it as 2y whole thing squared. 9 means 3 squared, but it is difference. There's nothing called sum of two squares, okay? So what is there is only difference of two squares. So you can write this as 2y plus 3, 2y minus 3, where the first bracket you have to write as it is. There are few examples. I'm not explaining this to you, but you can try doing the questions. And if you need any further clarifications, you can contact me and I'll explain you how to do the questions.